I shot my fiance's idea of having a three-way in bed down, but despite me saying no every time he went from asking to begging me to, and now he's not talking to me at all because I have to argue with him about it all the time. I, 24F, have been with my fiance, 26M, for 4 years. We met in college and he proposed last year. We've had a, in my opinion, fairly adventurous bedroom life. I have only ever did it with 2 guys besides him, and it was fairly tame stuff. When my fiancé and I began doing it, it was also tame, but great, for a time. After a while, we got more and more adventurous. He was especially helpful / patient / understanding / whatever to me about coming out of my shell and being more open to exploring. Since being with him, he and I have learned many things about what I love, what I hate, and what I'm so about in the bedroom, and the same for him. He's never forced me to do anything I don't want to do. If I'm worried that something will hurt, or if I'm not sure about it, he will answer any questions or explain things I've been misinformed about. Most of the time, I'll try stuff out maybe once or twice to see if I like it. In the few times I've been the one to offer some ideas, he's done the same. Again, sometimes we like it, sometimes we don't. There's only been maybe 2 times where I've turned an idea down entirely and he took it in stride. A while back, though, while we were getting in the mood, he brought up the idea of a 3-way. It completely caught me off guard since I was under the impression that, like me, he had no interest in stuff like this. We've sort of had conversations about it in the past. We were at a party and I noticed that someone there, I think she was like a friend of a friend of a friend's cousin to my fiancé, Ike, was pretty casually affectionate to 2 different guys. My fiancé explained that they were in a polyamorous relationship and, without being too judgmental or anything, he made an offhand comment about polyamorous relationships and open relationships not being his thing. I agreed. We moved on and I never thought back to it. I asked why and he just said he thought it'd be hot and that was all. I guess my shock was clear because he started explaining that it was just because he wanted us both to do something pleasurable, that he'd never have a 3-way without me, that he wasn't trying to start a polyamorous thing, so on, so forth. I told him no, I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in even trying it. He said okay, we moved on. I went to bed that night still bothered but willing to try to forget about. Well, he brought it up again. And again. And again. He stopped coaxing and had started begging. 2 days ago he brought it up again and we started arguing about it. He again tried to explain and justify and I kept shooting him down because I didn't see how any of his explanations mattered. I wasn't okay with it. So then he started getting accusatory. He'd done things I'd asked him to do before, so why couldn't I agree to this for him? Did I not believe him? I was usually so open-minded, why couldn't I just try it? I kept answering that there's a huge difference between positions / toys / other things / etc. And a third human being joining us, and B, I don't want to do it because I feel it should just be between us. It doesn't matter if he thinks it's just because it'll feel good, it'll bother me because I don't want to give and expose my body to anyone else but him. When I asked why he's so focused on specifically doing a 3-way, he deflected the question. Now he's terse with me, will hardly talk about anything, and is pretty much pouting all around the house. Commenter, first of all, he is not being respectful. Whoever said you need to give him an ultimatum is absolutely right. And I have a suspicion here he has a specific person in mind to join you. Update 1. First off, I would just like to say thank you so much for everyone who responded. I really appreciated all the support and advice I was given. Secondly, before I get to the update, I want to answer some questions that kept popping up but I was too tired to answer individually. Some of you questioned if he's always been pressuring me into what we do in the bedroom. I would once again like to reiterate that no, this is not the case. I have never before done something I did not want to do. Let me be honest and say my family was one of those we don't even say the word socks in this house. So my information on it came solely through the internet all throughout high school. My fiancé has only ever explained misinformation to me. Like I said, I have given him a hard no before and he took it well. Some of you guessed that he's already cheating on me / has someone in mind. This has also crossed my mind and has really taken a toll on me for the past few days. I've been paranoid and I couldn't help but think of everyone we know and wonder if he's been sleeping with them / wants to sleep with them. I'll get back to this in a minute. Some of you asked if he was wanting a MMF or FFN 3-way. Again, I'll address that. Some of you suggested pretend agreeing with the 3-way if I got to choose who we did it with / if we did it with another guy / etc. So I could catch him. I can see how that might be satisfying / telling, but Ike, that wasn't something I wanted to do. Sorry. To those of you who ironically suggested I actually do it, ha, ha. You're hilarious. To those of you who unironically suggested I actually do it, ha, ha. You're hilarious. To that one person who said our bed life has become too kinky and now that we no longer have anything to hold us back, me and my fiance are now pretty much becoming cracking demons, I am concerned for you. On to the actual update. Between reading everyone's responses, getting some alone time, and taking the day off of work, I had a lot of time to think. I thought about our relationship and if I truly wanted to marry this man, whether this meant I could trust him anymore, if this could only be the tipping point of a much bigger issue, etc. Yesterday wasn't a nice day to me. I felt pretty sick, to be honest. When my head started to clear, I decided that I really needed answers. I texted my fiance, who was at work, that we were going to have to talk when he got home, not a I changed my mind talk, not a let me scream at you talk, but a calm, serious talk between adults. He agreed. He came home pretty late, long shift, we sat down, and we talked. Right off the bat, was he cheating on me? Did he want to cheat on me? Was this why he was bringing it up? His answer, a very hard, firm no. He swore up and down for what felt like hours that no, he was not cheating on me and never wanted to cheat on me. He doesn't just want a three-way, he wants a three-way that I'm part of. The idea of having intercourse with one person who isn't me, or two people who aren't me, does not interest him. I'll come back to this, I believe him, but I can't put into words why. So, just to be clear, I asked him if that meant he didn't have someone in mind lined up. His answer, no, not really. He guessed that if I had agreed to it then we could maybe use one of those hookup websites/apps and find someone. He thought about asking someone he knew maybe once and realized that no, he probably would never be able to look them in the eye afterward. After he said this, I realized that we were being pretty gender neutral about this third party. So in curiosity, I asked him if he wanted a MMF three-way or a FFM three-way. His answer, he honestly didn't have a preference one way or another, but he finds the idea of a MMF three-way a little more appealing. He said something that one of the commenters that the last post brought up, that pleasuring two women at once would probably be very difficult. Which brings us to the biggest question, why he so very specifically wanted a three-way. Out of all the ideas and experiments we've had, I've never before seen him so fixated on an idea. I needed to know why. His answer, the idea was just really hot to him, as he said before. Now, I've known him long enough to know that it is pretty important to him. He loves me, and I love him, and intercourse, wherever it places on the vanilla to kinky scale, is how we express love and affection. Plus, it feels great. So I know why he wants it to be enjoyable, but I asked him to be more specific. Why a three-way, specifically? What is it about it that is so much more enticing to him than a toy/position/ etc.? His answer, revised, he couldn't put it into words, but he thought that maybe it had something to do not so much with having to X the people to make him feel good, but with watching me be pleasured from a different POV with him still being there. He said that if I slept with someone besides him on my own, he'd be pretty PO'd, because again, it is important to us. But, if I slept with someone and he was also there, he'd be fine with it. I responded with something like, why didn't we just make a tape you could watch, or something? He said it wouldn't have been the same. He also finally admitted that he had a wet dream about us having a three-way a while back and it gave him that idea. He didn't want an open relationship. He didn't want a polyamorous one. He wants to be the only person to have my love, but he'd be fine sharing my body, even if only for one night. So that answered a lot of questions and cleared some things up. Unfortunately, even though this conversation didn't end in a screaming match and swinging fists, it didn't end with sunshine and rainbows. I talked for a long time, and he listened. I told him about how his mindset and my mindset about this weren't compatible. He wants to be the only person I love, but is okay with us getting intimate with a third person. Meanwhile, I am incredibly uncomfortable with being with anyone else intimately, regardless of whether he's part of it or not, and on top of that, watching someone else make him feel good, male or female, would probably make me sick. I told him that because of my feelings, I was paranoid that he had his eyes on someone else. Yes, he said this wasn't the case, and no, I don't think you can't find other people attractive once you're in a relationship. In this case, though, it felt like he found someone he was attracted to and was trying to find a way to pursue them. Most importantly, I told him that his behavior in this argument made me feel, for the first time in our relationship, unsafe. For the first time in our sex life, I told him no and he refused to take it as an answer. He turned the conversation on me to guilt me into doing something with my body I wasn't comfortable with. By being terse and distant, he was giving me an ultimatum: put yourself in an incredibly uncomfortable position for my gain, or I'll be upset. He didn't deny any of this. He apologized over and over and swore he never meant to hurt me, but he didn't try to lie about what had happened, nor did he justify what he did. It's possible he lied to me about some things. Some of what we talked about was contradictory or very confusing. It doesn't feel very much like we've solved the core issue, but I cannot tell you what the core issue is. I don't know if the wedding is called off. I love him so much, but this experience has left me shell-shocked. I will say we haven't gotten too far in the planning stage, so we're not losing anything by putting things on pause. I also don't know if we can have a relationship after this, period. Yes, I want to live a blissful married life with a man I love, but now I'm wondering if I know said man as well as I thought I did. Not sure how the future will turn out. In any case, I again just want to thank you all so much for your support. I made the original post because I wasn't even sure myself if this was a disagreement or a deal breaker. A lot of responses I got really made me think about the things I needed to think about. I'll answer a few questions if I can in the comments. I'll leave this post up for a few days and then I think I'm just going to delete this account and peace out. This is on us now. Commenter: personally, I couldn't marry someone who hadn't put my mind to rest over this, but I'm a jerk that way. Marriage is already a big leap, don't give me a reason to be insecure about it, you know? I think there are probably very real answers to your questions. I think the only thing left is to figure out if he truly knows deep down and isn't telling you, or is too emotionally stunted to be real with himself about what he wants and why, so it's just I think it's hot Ike. I couldn't marry either of these two people, but you need to decide at what level you're comfortable taking that leap. Yeah. NGL, I've been left with this huge, sick knot in my stomach. I've been thinking about this so much my brain hurts. Update 2. Just making this last update before I delete this account. We're done. For now, I guess. This experience has made me realize that difference between doing it is important and doing it is the most important. He needs to figure out where this reaction came from, or at least, if he already knows, he needs to own up and admit to it. This whole thing unveiled some other, deeper lying issues, but I won't go into that. Thanks for the help. Currently staying over with a friend and doing the whole ice cream grief procedure.